Welcome to Wipf and Stock's instructional video series. In this video, I will illustrate how to format your paragraphs, addressing line spacing, indentation, and spacing between paragraphs. You can find more information in your author guide under Stage 4, Preparing a Final Manuscript. Please note that I am using Microsoft 2011 for Mac. You may be using a different version or even using Windows, so some menus may appear differently. First thing we want to do is turn on non-printing characters. You can see I've got it shown up here already. I'll show you how to do this briefly. In my version of Microsoft Word, there's actually an icon here that allows me to turn it on and off. The other way to do it is you can go through the system menus, go to Preferences, and then under View, under the menu non-printing characters, simply turn on All. Again, your version might be different, so you may have to look up how to turn that on. You'll see that I have a lot of empty lines. We don't want those, as those will disrupt the way that typesetting works. We need to delete them all. Start here and simply delete, as well as between your chapter number and title, as well as between your chapter title and your heading. Might look a little condensed, a little bit strange, but this is the way we'd like you to do it, as those lines, those empty lines do have to be deleted. You can see we also have some empty lines in between paragraphs, in between our extracts. We'll just go ahead and delete them all. So the first thing we want to do is note that in a later video we will show you how to do some tagging. The tagging allows our typesetters to run a series of scripts which will turn this into an actual heading and turn your extracts into actual extracts. You can see I've done a little bit of formatting in this Microsoft Word document. We'll do a little bit more to help our typesetters a little bit. This first paragraph, we're going to simply leave it as is, but the one thing we want to do is we want to add some spacing for our lines, because we need some more space in this. So we're going to give it a double line spacing. There's two ways to do it. I have an icon here that allows me to go right to 2.0. The other way you can do this is to highlight the text you want, go to Format, Paragraph, and see where it says line spacing, set that as double. And that allows some spacing here so you can be able to read your text a little bit better, and it allows our typesetters a little bit more control. So our house style is right after our first heading, to simply leave it without a line indent. However, subsequent paragraphs do need line indents. A lot of people want to use the tab in order to create this line indent. Please do not do it this way. We would prefer that you use it by setting a 0.5 first line indent, 0.5 inch. There's two ways you can do this. You can see I've got a ruler up here. You can simply grab this top part, slide it over to 0.5, and that will set the indent. The other way to do it is go to Format, Paragraph, see where it says first line, set that first line, and then it'll give you a 0.5 indent. Now something to be careful about is, say I've got an extract here. This paragraph following the extract, there are times when the paragraph is a continuation of this previous paragraph. There are also times when it is considered a new paragraph. You need to be very careful to set these according to the way you want. Our typesetters won't know exactly what you're looking for unless you give them the right information. Because I want this paragraph to be a continuation of this paragraph, I'm going to leave it alone. Please know that if you do not indent any of your paragraphs, if they are all left flush, we will assume that every paragraph is intended to be indented. So if you do not left align your paragraphs, or if you do not give this a first line indent, but your hope is to have this paragraph down here to not be a continuation, we're going to miss that, and you're going to have to go back and correct that later on. So please be very careful to set your first line indents. In this extract, you'll notice that I've got two paragraphs. This second paragraph, we want to do the same kind of treatment. It already has a 0.5 left indent, so we're going to add the first line indent and shift it over to another 0.5 inches. You can see here I actually have used tabs on these paragraphs to illustrate for this. If you have 0.5 indents on one paragraph and then use tabs on another, it's really going to disrupt the typesetting process, causing it to take longer than necessary. Please delete these and turn them into first line indents, because this is a first paragraph after a heading. Our house style is to leave it left flush. For this one, we will add that 0.5 indent. Same thing with this here and this here. By the way, you can select multiple paragraphs and give it a 0.5 indent, and that will set them all at the same time. Now you notice that I have empty lines. It was previously formatted correctly so that my chapter 2 showed up about in here, but with these double-spaced empty lines, it shifted that around. So instead of having empty lines, we want you to delete all of those. And here we want you to insert what's called a page break. Go to Insert, Break, and Page Break. And that'll bump everything down to the next page. Again, we'll remove some empty lines. Now the next thing we're going to address is your bibliography. We'll delete these empty lines first and add in a page break. Don't worry about the formatting of your bibliography, your entries. We do want to remove these empty lines in between if you have those. But don't worry about having to set any kind of paragraph formatting. We'll take care of that part. Simply follow Appendix B of the author guide on how the right way to set up your bibliographic entry. One thing we do want you to be careful of, you can see in this entry here that I've actually set it to have what's called a hanging indent, but I did it incorrectly. What I did instead of doing it correctly is I actually put a line break here, and then I put a tab here. This is really going to disrupt the process. We need you to actually remove this tab and remove that break. So you're going to delete and make sure you put the extra space in, otherwise that'll be merged together. And simply leave it like this. That's the easiest way for us to handle it. Our typesetters will do all the correct formatting. If you have any questions, please contact us. We can walk you through any other kind of odd formatting that you may have that may not be addressed in this video.